Well, here we are. It is the end of a journey, which is at the beginning of the video. What we have here is the orange blossom traditional BOMM, but not that kind of BOMM. It's a BOMM, Bray's 1 month mead. I started this this mead on January 2nd. I bottled it yesterday, which was February 9th. It took me a little while because, well, I got busy and stuff. So for those of you that think you have to wait months and months and years for mead, here's proof that you don't. And this video has documented the entire process that I have taken to go through and make a mead in 1 month. So here we have it. So grab an aroma off of it. Oh, you definitely get the orange blossom coming off of there, the honey. It's made with orange blossom honey, that's why it's orange blossom BOMM. There's a little bit of alcohol heat. It's 11.2% ABV. But yeah, the honey smell is just very, very pleasant. It's a very dry mead. I'm not a dry wine or mead fan. I prefer the sweeter side, but I went ahead and made it straight up, start to finish. For those that don't like sweet, because not everybody likes sweet, so for a change, here's a dry one. So we will get a taste on this. Cheers, everybody. So it's definitely dry. Get a little bit of the alcohol, ethanol, not ethanol, what's the word I'm looking for? The winter mint that you get from some alcohols. You get a little bit of that from it, but you definitely get the honey. The honey definitely comes through. It's nice, it's light, not cloying, not overpowering honey. It is a very pleasant beverage that I'm pretty sure that anybody who likes a white wine will really enjoy this, and it'll change their minds about meads. So with this, grab a bottle or a glass or whatever of your favorite tasty beverage and enjoy the show. It's going to be a long one. I have no idea. I haven't edited anything yet. So, but there is a lot of footage. And like I said, I go through all the steps that I've taken, right up into calculating the ABV of the mead without knowing beginning or ending gravity, using a spirit indication test. So stay tuned for that if you want to learn a little bit about that as well. So cheers, everybody, and enjoy. Alright, so day 0, we are making the BOMM. Whoa. Don't call Homeland Security, not that kind of bomb. It's a BOMM, no B. So what that stands for is Bray's 1 month mead. So this is how we go about making a mead in 1 month. Bray is a very, very smart person who I know through some various forums and stuff who came up with this through a lot of tests and stuff, and as a result, following these directions precisely, you should have a mead in 1 month. So with that, what we have is orange blossom honey. I got this at my local farmer's market. There's a lady there that I get all my honey from. We are using Y yeast. This is 1388. It's a Belgian strong yeast, which is actually key to this. We have Fermaid K, which is yeast nutrients. We have diammonium phosphates, or DAP, some more yeast nutrients. So I've talked about these in the past. This is basically nitrogen for the yeast. This one is nitrogen and some other enzymes and blah 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 that they like. And then we have potassium bicarbonate to drop the pH of the must that we're creating. So we need to get this kind of mixed up a little bit. So and we also have Ozarka water. So I've already sanitized everything using Star San. So we've got all of our various equipments here all ready to go. They say don't fear the foam, but in mead making, I like to do a little bit of rinsing just to get a little bit of that foam out, because I'm just like that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 1 gallon jug of water. We're actually going to measure out 750 milliliters of water. And we're doing 750 milliliters because I don't know how to convert this into cups at the exact amount. So right around there. And we don't worry about that one because we're done with that part. This is all the water we're using right here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the scale. And I need 1 ounces. And we're going to zero it out. And we need 2 pounds and 6.5 ounces. So almost exactly, it's 2 pounds, 6 ounces, and 5/8, so close enough. I do have a cheat sheet here because my craft doesn't allow me to remember anything. So we no longer need the scale, so we'll just pause that over there. So what we're going to do now is just add a little bit of the water, probably about half of what we had. Put the lid back on, make sure nothing gets in there. Like I said, all this stuff over here was sanitized previously. I'm using just a whisk. I'm just going to whisk this in. I have not heated anything. I'm a strong believer in not heating the honey because that drives off some of the flavor and aromas. And when you're using honeys like orange blossom or tupelo or wahia, which is one of my favorites, that are very, very light in their flavors and aromas, you don't want any of that to leave, since there's so little that you start with. So basically we're just whisking this up. One, to mix the honey into the water, and two, to get some aeration in it, because we do need the air and oxygen in there for the yeast. So that's good enough for now. Alright, so what we need now is a 1/6 of a teaspoon. I'm actually going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon because I don't have a 1/6 of a teaspoon of the potassium bicarbonate, and I don't think I need to worry about it that much based on what I've seen previously, but to follow the recipe exactly, it's a 1/6 of a teaspoon. And there it goes. So that was the potassium bicarbonate, which lowers the acidity of the must. the next thing we're going to do is the Fermaid K. It's my first time opening this, so I don't know what to expect. And we need a ½ teaspoon of this one. So ½ teaspoon Fermaid K. And this smells like dead yeast, which it's mostly what that is. They make a lot of yeast nutrients out of yeast because yeast has what yeast needs to grow. It's very cannibalistic like that. So then the next thing we have here is the DAP, the diammonium phosphate. And we only need 1/4 teaspoon of this, as this is very, very dense. We use this for the nitrogen that's in it. And so you don't need that much of it because it is very high in the nitrogens, and the phosphates break down into the nitrogen. So then we just mix it up, make sure it's all mixed up good. You don't want any lumps or anything. You want to make sure it's very well combined. And then we go and add the rest of the water. All that water's in there. Mix it up. We want to make sure it's all evenly distributed and as much air as we can get in there. I'm not going to bother busting out the oxygen for this. It's a small batch, and it's not that high in gravity since it's only the roughly 2.5 pounds of honey for the gallon. And with all the nutrients in there, it's good to go. So yeah, so there's that. We're done with the mix it. So the next thing we have is the yeast. So I actually whacked this yesterday, but it was very, very slow to do anything, so I left it overnight to make sure it was still good, and I can hear it behaving now. So what I'm just going to do is I got Star San, just do a little quick spritz to make sure it's good and sanitized. I say wait 30 seconds, I say that's long enough. And what we do is just slowly cut it with some sanitized scissors. Just get it open. And then you just dump it in. Oh, but not that thing. Oops. That's the first time that's happened. So yeah, so if you ever want to know what was in a smack pack, that's the thing you smack, cracks open, releases the nutrients into the yeast that are inside. And yeah, that's it. So now all we do is we put the lid on. I like to make sure the lid is so that the airlock is right in the middle so it doesn't get interfered with the handles. And yes, I'm doing this in a bucket because I have had issues with just doing this in carboys, and the carboys deciding to be very, very active and having to shoot out the airlock and all over the place. So I'm just using my Star San here that I have in a bottle, and I'm just going to slowly spritz it into the airlock here. Just get it up, and there we go. So that's it for day 0. I will be coming back tomorrow, which will be day 1, to basically hit it again with the whisk. Yeah, about 24 hours, and then what I'll do at that point is I will add another 1/4 teaspoon of the diammonium phosphate and another 1/2 teaspoon of the Fermaid K. So the Fermaid K, let's crack it open. It's a little gray powder or tan powder. Not sure how well this is showing up in the video because the camera sucks. And then the diammonium phosphate is just white crystals. So yeah, tomorrow I will hit it up with another dose of that, and then the day after that I will just aerate it, whisk the hell out of it again, and then so today's Friday, tomorrow whisk it, add some nutrients. The day after that I will just whisk it, and then the day after that, which will be Monday, I will whisk it and add a final addition, another 1/4 teaspoon of the diammonium phosphates and a 1/2 teaspoon of Fermaid K. And then at that point, I will just leave it until next weekend, at which point it should be mostly done fermenting, and probably rack it into a carboy at that point. I'll probably do some degassing throughout the week just to make sure everything's mixed up and get all the CO2 out of it while it's trying to do its, the yeast are trying to do their fermentation thing. And yeah, so I'll be showing you the process of everything that I do as I do it. And in about 7 days we'll rack it and then just wait for it to clear, and in 1 month we'll be done. So see you tomorrow. Here we are 24 hours later. Bloop. And then sometime later some more. Bloop. Just like that. Hello, hello. Steve, Canadian Sasquatch, day 1 or 2, depending on how you count. So this is the BOMM that we made yesterday. It's 24 hours. You would have seen the little blip, blip, blip in the airlock just a little bit prior to this little bit of intro. So what we're doing today is we will be degassing, aerating, and adding some more DAP, diammonium phosphate, and Fermaid K to it. So if my lovely camera woman will come over here, she will have a look down inside there. So you can't really see too much going on right now.
Looks like rubber cement.
It does look like rubber cement. That is a good observation. So I'm just going to do a quick sanitize at the bottom of the lid, and then I'm going to set it down here on this towel. And then I have pre-sanitized whisk. I'm just going to whisk it to help degas. So you can see that it's been doing something because it is bubbling up. So what we need to do is we need to degas it. And this is why I always do this in a bucket. It's a 2-ish gallon bucket I got at my local brew store. Do the initial fermentation in the bucket so that when this happens, you don't have a MEA or a Mead explosion accident, which is where the mead comes shooting through the airlock and you have a mess everywhere. I've had 1 or 2 of those, and I do not like cleaning up those messes, so yeah, buckets from now on for primary fermentation. And I know a lot of you beer brewers out there are like, oh my god, he's whisking it and it's fermenting. It's going to oxidize. No, because we don't have hops in here, there won't be any oxidization. It's the hops in beer that you don't want to have add oxygen after the fact. Although I have read in some cases where with really large beers like the huge barley wines, the huge imperial stouts, that during day 2, after you've pitched the yeast, you want to give it a good boost of oxygen again, because the yeast does need oxygen to do its thing and multiply and multiply and multiply. It doesn't actually start doing the conversion of the sugars into alcohol until it is done propagating. So we're just trying to get this as degassed as we can. So yeah, so it's just, you want air in there, you want the CO2 out of there. And another reason why you do this right off the bat is because when we go to add the Fermaid K and the DAP, it will actually cause it to foam up like this on its own, because it gives the CO2 nucleus spots to create for the CO2 to latch onto and just foam up. So yeah, so we're just going to get it to right about there. So we have the Fermaid K, which again, don't know how well that shows up in the camera, and we are going to be adding a ½ teaspoon, and basically it just looks like and smells like dead yeast, which is pretty much all that is. And then we have the DAP here, the diammonium phosphate, as I read the label to make sure I'm saying that it is phosphate. And we are adding a ¼ teaspoon of that, and it goes. That's all we need. And then we just mix that in. So the other thing is it doesn't look like it's actually doing too much, and like there wasn't a krausen when we opened it up. You guys saw it, same as I did. I just cracked the lid and then we started filming and lifted it, and you guys saw what I saw at the same time. So there wasn't too much of a krausen, and I am using an older package of the 1388 Belgian yeast. Its manufacturer date was July, and it is January. So it's 6 months out of date. So not the healthiest, but with everything that we're doing here, it will not matter that much. So you can use the older yeasts on this. It's just a matter of getting it going, and once it's going, and you did see the little blip 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 in the airlock prior, it will be quite happy doing its thing. It's also cooler since it is January. Even though we are in Texas, our house is running around about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And this particular lease does like it a little bit warmer, so like 75-ish it would be really happy at. But that's fine. We will still have everything done in the 30 days to show you how it's all done. So yeah, that's everything we're doing today. Day 1 or 2, depending on how you count. Like I said, started it yesterday. First nutrient addition today. I guess it's second since we did the first one when we mixed it together. And then in 2 days, well, tomorrow we will degas and aerate once again. And then the day after, I'm going to add the last bit of nutrients, last bit of aeration and degassing. and we will kind of play it from there. I'll probably have to degas it a couple more times, but after that it will be good to go, and we'll just kind of let it sit for about a week, and then we'll transfer it off into a secondary where it can sit and do its thing and clarify and be good. So see you guys tomorrow. Hello. It is day 3, January the 4th, and we are looking after this bad boy. So this is the BOMM, and there it is. And basically all we are doing today is taking this guy, spritzing him, and I'm just spritzing it on the counter because, well, I only have one hand. So he's all nice and spritzed. And we are just going in here, and we're degassing, because look at it foam. So that's not so good for the mead. It does better when all the CO2 is out of it. Get all the CO2 out, and then we can whisk it some more, and that gets some oxygen in there, because the yeast actually really like having as much oxygen as they can as they ferment the honey. Oh, this smells amazing. So just a nice, simple day today. Either tomorrow or the next day we will add some nutrients to this, which will be the final addition. The final addition of nutrients, and then we just work on degassing it for a couple more days after that, just to make sure everything stays mixed up and the yeast are happy. And once the final addition of nutrients are in there, we do not want to aerate it anymore, so it'll be just gentle mixings just to get the CO2 out. But until then, we just eat the bejesus out of it. Oh. So yeah, so that's pretty much all we're doing tonight. It'll be a couple more minutes of this, then I'll put the lid back on and seal it up until tomorrow night. So see you tomorrow. Hello! So it is January 5th, day 3 or 4 now, and we're back at this guy here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at it, see what it looks like, and see whether we need to add the nutrients or wait a bit longer before we're doing that. So again, the nutrients: Fermaid K, DAP, diammonium phosphates. So I'm pretty sure we won't be adding them because it's fermenting really slow. The house is cooler than what this would like to be at, where the house is running around between 65 and 70-ish, and with the yeast that we're using, it really does like to be 70 to 75. So it's running a little slow, so this may actually take a bit longer than a month to do, but it should be close. So let's go ahead. I've already cracked it open. There it is. Smells phenomenal. Just put that guy there. So of course the first thing we do is take the whisk and just start whisking it. We want to make sure we get that CO2 out. Make sure we get the yeast back in suspension. That way it ferments cleanly all the way through. And if we get all the CO2 out of it, then it helps, later on it does help clarify it faster because the CO2 doesn't keep everything in suspension. So yeah, we're still also aerating it while we're doing this. We want to make sure the yeast have some good health in there, so we want them to have some more oxygen. So we seem to be getting there. Definitely will not be adding the we will not be adding the nutrients. I don't think it's quite ready yet. The best way to tell though is to do gravity readings. So you take a gravity reading at the beginning, which I didn't do because I actually rarely do that. And then you add the nutrients at the 1/3 and 2/3 sugar breaks. So when your gravity is dropped down to 1/3, down to, I guess it drops down to 2/3 of what it was. No, 1/3 of what it was. Math is hard. Either way, at those points, we add the nutrients. Like the day before yesterday, I think it was, we added the nutrients because that was going to be around the first sugar break. So now we just wait for the next one, which will most likely be tomorrow. So we'll just continue to mix this up. Mix, mix, mix. So yeah, so I'm going to continue doing this. You guys don't need to watch me just stir. So basically I'm just going to continue doing this until it's completely degassed, and then I will put the lid back on and let it sit until tomorrow. So see you guys tomorrow. Good day, it is January 6th, so we are 4 days into this batch of mead. Today we are going to be whisking the bejesus out of it. Those poor little bejesus never know what's going to hit them. And we're also going to add the nutrients. So we're adding the DAP, diammonium phosphate, and the Fermaid K. Doing a 1/4 teaspoon of the DAP and a 1/2 teaspoon of the Fermaid K. So we're going to take the lid off. I pre-cracked it already. We're going to flip it over here. Oh, that smells amazing. Can't really see too much. Doesn't seem to be doing much right now. But we take our trusty whisk that has been sanitized and get it in there. Once again, we are getting the CO2 out because the yeast do not like the CO2, and we will be whisking some more air into it because the yeast do like the air. But this will be the last time that we do it to the point of getting air into the must. It's since we're around the 1/3 sugar break, it's won't be beneficial to have any more air in there. So we just do it one last time, and then after this it'll just be a matter of getting the CO2 out over the next couple of days. Keeping the yeast in suspension, getting the CO2 out of it, making sure the yeasts are fully doing their job to their fullest capabilities. So that's good enough. We'll set it down on that, which is a sanitized paper towel. So we are going to grab the the DAP, and we are doing a 1/4 teaspoon. And again, you want to do your getting rid of the CO2 prior to doing this, otherwise it will foam up on you. And why it does that is because the CO2 locks onto the little particles of whatever you're putting in there, which creates nucleation points, and it just causes crazy bubbling. So, and then here's the Fermaid K, 1/2 teaspoon of that. And then we go back to whisking, get it mixed up good. Make sure there's no lumps, because the Fermaid K actually does lump pretty bad. So you want to make sure that gets broken up and distributed throughout the entire must. Getting it in there, so I'll just be doing this for a couple more minutes, and after that I put the lid back on and see you guys tomorrow, with or without a crazy cat. She ran away. Hello, it is January 7th, and we're here. So basically all we're doing is we're cracking open the Mead and just degassing. That's all we're doing. We're not going to try and aerate it. We're not adding anything. So here we are, taking the lid off, seeing what I'm seeing for the first time. Doesn't look like much, but it does smell phenomenal. So I've got the sanitized whisk here, just kind of gently stirring things up, making sure to hit the bottom. Want to get those yeasts up and about. It's looking like we are pretty dang close to being done with how this isn't really foaming up. Yeah, we are pretty close to being completely fermented, it looks like. One way to find out would be to take a sugar reading, so either a hydrometer or refractometer. Of course, with the refractometer, you have to do some fancy calculations or find a website that'll do the fancy calculations, because it can't handle the alcohol in it. So yeah, this is looking to be pretty close to being done. So basically I'm just gonna this is actually going to be the last time I do this. I will now just let it sit for several days, let the yeast finish doing their thing. Let me grab this guy. So yeah, I'm gonna just sanitize my lid here. I always do this. Take the lid off, set it upside down. Oops, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. And then I just sanitize it. So yeah, so I'm going to just probably leave it for several days. Today is Wednesday, so probably Saturday I will rack this off. Saturday I will do a CO2 check, which basically means putting the whisk in and doing just a gentle whisk like we were doing today to see how much CO2 action's in there. That way I can rack it into a carboy without too much issues. I'll be putting it into a 4-liter carboy, so it should have enough space for the whole batch. And by letting it just sit for several days, a lot of the yeast will settle down, and we will be able to not have to worry too much about the sediment once it's in the carboy, or not as much, because there will be a lot as it clears. So yeah, so that's that. So we will see you probably Saturday, which is 1, 2, 3 days from now. So cheers. So here it is, January 11th, and we are continuing on. The next step we're doing here is we are racking from bucket into a 4-liter carboy here. So all we are basically going to do is crack this guy open. I already did. You can see in there, and it's looking great. It's smelling fantastic. So yeah, actually I'm going to grab one of these guys real quick. So yeah. And my beautiful bride's here to take over the camera. Yay! Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, so it's just using the trusty old auto siphon. Getting it going in there. So basically we are just getting it off the lees that's been built up into the bucket here, and we're just going to go nice and slow and try not to pick up too much of the yeast that's on the bottom. So yeah, when I do this part, I'm going to fast forward it. So it's been basically about a week, which gives us about 3 weeks left. This is already fairly clear, all things considered. A lot of you people out there that have made meads before probably have waited a month or more for it to be this clear from where we started. It was super cloudy. So yeah, we're getting there. I like to use milk crates for this because it allows the siphoning to work better, because you get it up off the same level, and I don't have to put it down on the floor. Plus, the handles make a good spot for you to start tilting the buckets. So yeah, we can start seeing some of the sludge here. If you want to come over here, look in here, you can see the lees on the bottom of the bucket there. We're trying not to get too much of that, but we also want to get as much of the mead as we can. We are getting there. Be careful here because the carboy's filling up too. Alright, so that's that. Later. So yeah, so that's this is Mead, and basically we're going to slap an airlock on it, which I happen to have right here, a vat of star sand. And I was going to take a sample, but I kind of forgot, so let's go ahead and try and do that real quick too. So I'm just going to pour a little bit out. Just a taste. And we'll go ahead and slap this guy on real quick. So I just use star sand in my airlocks. Keeps everything nice and sanitary, just like that. Put my hands off. So there it is. It's a little cloudy. Oh, it's lovely orange blossom honey aromas. I'm getting like no fusels or anything like that. It's nice and mild, not very strong flavor-wise. Get a little bit of alcohol mouthfeel, and is still slightly carbonated, so it will have to fix itself on that too, because it's going to be still. So, but yeah, that's working out really nice. So I'll be back in a couple of days to show you what the carboy's doing, and so cheers until then. Forgot to mention, always label your carboy so you know what's in there. So this is Orange Blossom BOMM. I started on 0102 and I racked it 0111, which is today. So always make sure you label your carboys so you know what's in them, because some of us are very experienced at having stuff in carboys for many months and having no idea what's in them. So always label them. See ya. So here we are, January 31st. This was started on January 2nd. And you can see how clear it is. So what we're doing today is a couple days behind. But you can see the sediment on the bottom. So we're going to be racking it off into this guy here. And letting it sit for a couple of days. So basically that's all we're doing with this video. So sit tight and enjoy the show. Just gonna try to get this set up so you can see what's going on. How's that? Is that okay for everybody? I don't know how all this will show up, but you can see how clear that is right through the cup. It is pretty crystal clear. Hopefully that's the correct angle. So there it is. It's no longer as clear as it was because I did pick up some of the sediment, so this will take a little bit longer than 30 days, but as you can see, it was crystal clear before I did this. I do this just so that when I come to bottle, I don't have like all this sludge in there. So yeah, well, might as well give it a taste. Oh, you can definitely smell the honey. So it's the orange blossom honey. There's a lot of that on the nose. There is no fusels or alcohol, anything like that. That is just pure honey on the nose. So let's give it a taste. It's drier than I prefer usually, but that's why we did it this way, was to show you can make a mead in about 30 days, and also to show that meads aren't always sweet. So yeah, it's just, you just have the honey flavor in there. I'm not getting any alcohol notes or anything of the like. We do not know what ABV this is at this point. That will be later. I'll show you how to calculate the ABV. So yeah, it's just a extremely delicious, dry, honey wine, mead. So yeah, that's all we got for now. We're just gonna come back here, grab our bowl of stuff here. We got the airlock, got the bung, put the airlock into the bung, put the little cap guy in the bung, put it into there. I just used my spray bottle. It's got star sand in it. Just nice and easy. So there it is. So a couple more days, so this won't be exactly 30 days since I was a little bit slacker and didn't rack it sooner. I should have racked this probably 3-4 days ago, but so it's just going to be a matter of waiting for it to get back to being this clear again, and then yeah, from there it's we bottle. So that's going to be the next video, is bottling. And of course, always remember labeling. So I'll put a R20131. I might even have a do, so you can watch me do this. R201-31, since today is the 31st. Yes. And I will just dry this guy off because he's a bit wet, because I did sanitize everything before I did anything. And it helps if I point the camera at the direction I'm doing stuff. So yeah, make sure you label. It's key. If you don't label, you end up drinking stuff like this, which is a sizer. I don't know the exact notes on it, but I do know it was made with leftover honeys, because I did find initial notes, but nothing after the initial notes. It's wahia and buckwheat honey in it. Drinking it Uncle Jonah style with the ice cubes. It's nice and sweet and tasty. So anyways, see you guys in a couple of days when it's bottling day. Cheers. And we're back! So it is currently February 9th, and we started this guy on January 2nd, so this 30-day mead, I'm a little behind, but as you can see, it's freaking crystal clear. So it is bottling time. So I have my various assortment of bottles here. So as I go through this, I will try and update with the bottling process here if I can. If not, then you'll probably just end up seeing a bunch of bottles that are already bottled. So I'm using my old school corker instead of my Ferrari because, well, there's not that many of them. Bottling bucket, auto siphon, the corks, the venator to make sure everything's all nice and sanitized on the inside here. Just like that. So yeah, so the first process will be to go from here to here, and then once that's done, I'll be going into here, and there'll be a little bit of bonus footage of figuring out the ABV of this sucker, since I didn't do take an original gravity of it. So yeah, so if nothing else, it'll be that. So stay tuned. So here we are. We'll see how well this works one-handed, since I'm kind of doing this one-handed here. That's what it says. Not gonna happen. All right. So I racked it into my bottling bucket. I got this guy, my racking cane. I do have a little stand here, so let's do it like this. I can move these bottles over a little bit. No, do it like that. So I don't know how much of this you'll actually see. Alright, there we go. So it started. So yeah, so bottling wand into the bottle. I'm going to set you down again because I need to get this one ready. So set them on there so they can drain all the water out of. I know you're not supposed to fear the foam, but when dealing with meads, the flavors and aromas are so subtle to start with, I don't dare trust putting anything else in them that could do any kind of flavor adjusting. So yeah, I do rinse with just my tap water because I trust my tap water. I have not had any issues yet. So as we can see, this guy's getting close. Going up, and I did put it on a milk crate to raise it up so that I can do this. And there it is, like that. I'm setting it down so I can grab the next bottle. And I'll move this one out of the way. This is a big bottle. Or a tall bottle. It's 750 ml. Normally I just like using the 375 ml bottles because that's perfect size for my beautiful bride and I to share one bottle and be done. Or on those really rough days when I just want a whole bottle of mead to myself, I don't have any guilt drinking one of those bottles. So yeah, but I don't have enough of these ones, so I'm filling up 2 of these guys first, because a 1 gallon batch should be 5 of these bottles or 10 of those ones, so I should have enough altogether as it is. If not, I'll just have to drink more later. So watching it go up, there it is, into there, next bottle there, move it, shuffle it around. And you can see how clear that is. Even with my crappy camera, you can see right through that. Quite happy with how this has turned out for you guys to see. So yeah, so that guy's going up. This one goes down. Standard bottling. And of note, I did set aside 8 ounces in that measuring cup there. And I will... I think that's 8 ounces. Yeah, 8 ounces. And I will show you guys why here in a little bit. So I will come back when I'm done with all this. So yeah, alright, so I have 5 little ones, 2 big ones. I got my corker here. I pre-sanitized it already. I got my corks in the sanitizer already. So how this guy works is you just plop the cork in there, and I definitely cannot do this one-handed. So the bucket there. Let's see if I can get the camera to do something on here. Alright, so there it is. Put the cork in, and then you squeeze it, and you squeeze it nice and tight, and hopefully this is in the picture, and you just, holy cow, this is harder than I remember. Squeeze it, and down it goes, and there it is. So that's a nice bottle of mead all corked up. Does have a little bit of the foam on. I should have wiped that one off first, or flung the foam off. So, but I will be back when I'm done. Welcome to Spirit Indication Testing 101. So what we're doing here is I have an Orange Blossom traditional 1 month mead, which I didn't take the original gravity of when I made it, and so I need to find out what the alcohol content of it is. And to do that, we start off, we take a reading of what it's currently at. So right now I have an original gravity of 0.997, so this is very dry. And you also need to know the temperature, so it's 73.0 degrees Fahrenheit. So this sampling that I took, I poured out the last that I had in my carboy into my jug here, or my measuring cup, and I go up to 6 ounces because I know with 6 ounces I get enough to fill my hydrometer tube and be able to get a good reading on my hydrometer, and I can easily figure out half of 6, which is 3 ounces, and which is what we're going to be doing. So we're taking this guy and we're going to pour him back into there. What I actually do is I actually measure out 8 ounces of the dredges of the carboy. So we get 6 ounces here, but then 2 ounces of tasting. So just a little quick. Not a fan of dry, but that is pretty tasty. So anyway, so we have 6 ounces here. And what we want to do with that is come over here, pour it into a pot that we will then set that over there. Light up on high. And so what we're going to do now is we are going to boil it down to half of 6 ounces, which doesn't actually show up on my cup here. So that's easily resolvable. I have another one. And it's also easier to read. So we have 6 ounces right there, and then there's a 3 ounce right there, which you can't really see on this camera because this camera sucks. But trust me, it's there. So what we're going to do now is we are just going to basically boil this down to half, which is the 3 ounces, which I'm repeating myself. And then we are going to chill it down to approximately as close to 73.0 as we can. And then we are going to take the gravity reading again. And then we're going to do some fuzzy math to calculate the ABV of this. So I will be back when we are at the halfway point. So stay tuned. So we're here. We're down at the 3 ounce mark. Can't really see it because the camera sucks and it's all steamy and stuff. So basically what we did was we took 6 ounces of mead, we boiled it down to 3 ounces, and what that does is it boils away all the alcohol and a little bit of water. So now what we're going to do is I have, surprisingly, 3 ounces of filtered water, and I am just going to pour this into there. Which brings us up to the 6 ounce mark. So we're back to having 6 ounces of fluid. So we are going to cool this down, like I said, down to around 73.0 degrees Fahrenheit. And these numbers are kind of important on how accurate you are. Just small variations in either your gravity or your temperature can have a wide swing in what your results are going to be, and you actually want it in Celsius. So yeah, so I'm going to cool this down a bit, and I will be back with you guys to show you what's next. So yeah, now we're back. We've been cooling this guy. So it is down to, you can just barely see that, 22.9. That's a good temperature. So that's Celsius, because like I said, we need to know this in Celsius. So 22.9, that's almost bang on from what we had, which was 22.8. Now we take that out and we pour this. Try and look through the camera and pour and not make too much of a mess. Alrighty. So there we are. We can take this guy out, spin him around, spin, spin, spin. So it'll be interesting to see where this comes out at after getting rid of all the alcohol and boiling it down and getting some fresh water in there. So it's bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. You can't really see what we got. I can't really see either because there's bubbles in the way. So 1.01. That looks like a 2 to me, so it's a 12. So we will write down our notes right here, 1.012. Remember, we were at 0.997. So what we do here is we come over to a calculator, because I'm horrible at math, and there's a nice little website here that has it all. You can't really see it, but I'll have this link down below. So final reading was 1.012. I've already filled in the information from the last one, 22.9. So hydrometer calibration reading, mine's for 60. Initial reading was 0.997, initial temp 22.8. Final reading 1.012, final temp 22.9. Our ABV is 11.2%. So there you go, that's how you do a spirit indication test to get the ABV if you haven't been taking good notes, like usually I don't. Or if you add fermentables or more liquid or whatever, so you can't really figure it out based on original gravity and all the math that goes in between as you're adding and subtracting fermentables and water and all that. So this is a quick little way of doing it. Well, not so quick. It takes about 10-15 minutes to do it, start to finish. So yeah, so we will see you in, well, a matter of seconds for the rest of this video.